Hi everyone, welcome to our October Coffee With. And I would like to warmly welcome our guest, Sarah Lancaster, who is the new Assistant Manager of Partnerships and Prevention at Latrobe Link Community Health. So thank you so much for making the time to join me today, Sarah.
Thanks, Laura. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. I'd like to start with acknowledging the traditional owners of the land of which we are both meeting online today and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. And for me, that's the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I would like to acknowledge their knowledge, resilience and ongoing contribution to the health and well-being of the whole community. So whereabouts are you joining from, Sarah?
I'm also on Wurundjeri country today.
Great. So just a little bit more background to Sarah. She recently left her dual positions working as the Strategy and Engagement Coordinator with our friendly neighbours at the Outer East PCP and as Health Promotion Officer at Inspiro. It's wonderful that Sarah is currently studying a Masters of Nutrition and Population Health at Deakin University. And Sarah, we're so excited to have you join firstly the Latrobe and also the Eastern region. So first, to start off our questions, the burning question we always like to ask our guests is, are you a coffee or a tea drinker? Or to mix things up, are you a chai lover?
Oh, good question. I'm definitely more a coffee lover. I love a strong latte in the mornings, and then I'm a peppermint tea drinker at night.
Oh, you got to love the herbal teas in the afternoon, early evening.
Yes, exactly. Coffee's probably not the way to go for me at that point of the day.
Do you have a coffee with you now, or is it?
I do have a coffee
there we
this
go.
afternoon. Yes, sneaking it in.
Wonderful. So can you describe a bit more about your role and the work you are doing at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. So as you said, I'm the new Assistant Manager of Prevention and Partnerships at Latrobe and Link Community Health Services. So a bit of a dual position here. I manage two health promotion teams. So we have the Link team based in Glen Waverley and they look after the Monash catchment. And then we also have a Latrobe team who look after the Gippsland catchment. So in addition to that, I also look after the community engagement arm of the Gamblers Help team. Okay. And yeah, overall, my role is to lead all of the planning, development and reporting of our programs and initiatives, and also to help my manager, Michelle, with the operational support of our broader prevention and partnerships team. So yeah, at the moment, we're currently developing our 4-year strategic plan and our 1-year action plan for both health promotion teams. So getting to know both catchments and all of our partners and stakeholders in the area.
Fantastic. And how long have you been in this position so far?
This is the end of my first month. So
congratulations. So fresh into the role and wearing several hats right now.
Yeah, that's it. Lots to learn, but I'm really enjoying the process so far.
Yeah, wonderful. And how have you changed the way you do your work this year? Like, you know, we've had lockdowns and you've moved into a different region or a couple of regions now. So from your previous job.
Yeah, so it's been different, I guess, different perspectives from both jobs previously coming into this new role. I think 2020 was a really interesting time learning how to work effectively from home and sort of where to define boundaries and also where to be flexible at the same time. So This year, I think I've learned how to define boundaries in some ways around like Zoom meetings, for example. I noticed last year we could be spending up to 6 hours a day on Zoom and it's just fatiguing. So looking at how I find boundaries for meetings, so whether that's making sure I'm spreading them out across the week or just having shorter meetings. But at the same time, also being more flexible. So looking at my hours and looking at how the day is working. Sometimes I like to start a little bit later in the day, or sometimes I might start earlier and take a longer lunch break. So just looking at where my energy is at, I guess, in lockdown and what the day looks like and being flexible with that so it's not as rigid as maybe it previously has been working in the office. So I think using those two strategies has definitely been something that's changed this year. And maybe, I guess that's because we are so used to working from home now.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know what it's like to work in the office anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It will be interesting going back, but definitely something that I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to meeting my team face to face and seeing some of our offices. So yeah, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, and the little luxuries, isn't it, really, now to go back into the office and, you know, have that face-to-face contact with staff and the team. So, no,
Yeah.
I think we're all looking forward to that. And so, look, I know you mentioned to me that you're passionate about active living, healthy eating, gender equity, and of course, that innovative practices. And so, what really motivates and excites you to do the work you do in health promotion?
Yeah, those are definitely areas that I'm really passionate about. And I think we're in such a great area in health promotion in that we work in the preventive space. So it's so nice to look at all of our actions and initiatives and programs and reflect back on that and think, where did we start, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, where have we ended up? The other thing is that we get to reach so many people in our communities and our populations. So in clinical practice, you may only get to work with a handful of clients in a year, but in health promotion, you do get to reach so many communities. And I love the thought that the work that we do today could, not only affect the people that we work with today, but also their families and their friends, communities in the future as well. So yeah, that's definitely something that motivates me to work in this space, the large scale change that we can make in our roles.
And prevention at scale, as we all like to talk about. It's so important. And I guess giving people a better understanding of what health promotion is and what we do as an everyday job. So yeah, I think it's really interesting what you've mentioned so far.
Yeah, that's it.
So how can Inner East PCP partners who are watching this and, read your bio, get involved in your work with Link Latrobe and, things like collaboration, information and resource sharing, just to name a few?
Yeah, so it's actually a really great time for partners to get involved. As I mentioned, we're at the start of our planning stages for our next 4-year cycle. So now is a really opportunistic time to get in touch. And if there are programs or initiatives that partners think they would like help with or they'd like to collaborate on, please feel free to email me or anyone in my team. I'm happy to have a chat and see where our projects and initiatives align. Definitely looking forward to meeting some new stakeholders in the Inner East. I think I have a fairly good grasp of our friends out in the Outer East, but not much the Inner East. So yeah, please don't be a stranger. I think definitely reach out if there's something that you think you could help us with. And vice versa, like if there are resources that you've developed and you think would be useful for our team to have or get a hold of, or you'd like us to promote for you, definitely would be interested in having that conversation to see where we can help our partners out.
Great, thanks, Sarah. And look, again, back to the home work-life balance. So what strategies, you've mentioned a couple of strategies I think is so important for us to keep aware of is, what part of the day do we work best? How much screen time are we having? Are we stepping away and having those mental health breaks? Do you have any other suggestions or things that you've been working on to help your work life and getting that balance during that 18 months or more now of working from home?
Yeah, so the other things I guess I've been doing is making sure I go for a walk every day. So when I was working back in the office, I used to make sure I did get my steps in at lunch. I was often going out for a walk, or we would do walking meetings with my colleagues and just trying to get our steps up and really practice what we were preaching in that sense. And so I noticed when I started working from home, you kind of stuck at your desk a little bit more, being on the computer and in meetings on Zoom. Plus my house is just smaller than the office, so you have many steps in. So yeah, I try and make sure to go for a lunchtime walk every day. And I also bought a height adjustable desk, which has been really helpful just to enable some more movement throughout the day. And as you kind of picked up on before, active living is something that I'm really passionate about, and it's definitely an integrated part of my life. So for me, I feel like if I don't get that movement in, even if it is just standing up throughout the day, it does really affect the way that I perform and the way that I can focus on tasks. So yeah, it's definitely something that I recommend for everyone working at home is make sure you take those moments to get away from your computer when you can, even if it is just like walking down your driveway to check the letterbox or walking out to the end of the street and back 5 minutes in between the next meeting. Yeah, just trying to get movement in as much as possible.
Every step counts, doesn't it? And I think, though, having those short bursts of movement is better than nothing. So just really recharges yourself and keeps you focused throughout the day. So I found that helpful too.
Yeah, definitely taking micro breaks and things like that.
And look, what are you secretly enjoying right now about our isolation? Because, in some ways we're getting used to it. In some ways, you know, it's obviously sometimes harder when we can't see some of our loved ones and things like that and friends. But what have you kind of gained from this experience of, you know, isolation or, you know, being more at home than we are, you know, out traveling or, you know, doing one of our favorite hobbies?
Yeah, I guess a few things. So my partner is an emergency nurse, so he's a shift worker. So previously, I guess working in the office, you know, sometimes our days wouldn't align and I may not see him for a few days.
Yeah.
So it's been nice to, I guess, be at home. We've seen a lot more of each other over the last 18 months. So that's been really lovely. And I guess also just, yeah, being at home allows you to be a little bit more flexible in your integration of home work life. So it's been nice to be able to put on a load of washing at the start of the day and then, you know, hang it out at lunchtime and know that some of those home tasks are already done when you finish the day. Or, you know, take the dog for a walk and not have to think when you finish the work day, that's something else that you have to do. So yeah, it's been nice to have that flexibility, I think, and has allowed for a better balance in my life.
Well, you're certainly giving me tips today about what to take on and continue. So thanks for sharing that. And look, the one last question, what are you looking forward to once this lockdown is over? Like, what are you kind of like, oh, I can't wait to do that?
I guess on a big scale, so I grew up in Wollongong and all of my family are in there still. So definitely really keen for the borders to open up and get back home to Wollongong and see my family and friends. It's been close to a year for some of them. So yeah, that's kind of my main goal at the moment. And that's the news that I'm really hoping to hear soon. But on a local level, I'm just looking forward to going into a cafe and eating and going to some restaurants with friends. I really love that culture of sharing food and the conversations that you can have. In a restaurant or a cafe with that undivided attention and no screens or anything like that. So yeah, that's something hopefully we can do soon.
Oh, wonderful. This has been such a nice chat, and, you know, hearing more about, you know, your personal experiences, you know, with what you do at home now, and then of course how much you're so passionate about your work in health promotion and that continual engagement with the community. You know, as I said before, we're so lucky to have you, you know, promote both regions, and hopefully, you know, we'll see some really great results in the next 4 years. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about yourself today, and for joining me for this virtual coffee. It's been a good one.
Thanks, Laura. I really enjoyed
Fantastic.
catch up with you.